everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica.
So Mandy and I snuck away for the night, left all the kids at home, and we are at McMenamins in Bothell, Washington at the, it was the historic Anderson Schoolhouse building. So this is a really fun place. We'll take some video, but this is McMenamins is a branch or like a thing in the Pacific Northwest where they buy old historic buildings and they turn them into hotels. And so we're in an old schoolhouse. There's a principal's office down the hall. It's a bar. It's not open yet, but there's books and stuff in there, which is really kind of cool. So we'll try and take some video here in a little while, but this is our anniversary video.
Yes.
Yes. So we just celebrated our 1-year anniversary. We asked you guys for some questions. So let's do our questions that our viewers submitted. And yay, 1 whole year on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Congrats.
Woo! Okay.
Okay, question 1.
Yeah.
How did you start reading this genre?
For me, I started in like 2018, 2019 reading fan fiction. I was never a reader. And so I got into fan fiction. Look, I was really addicted to Supernatural. Okay, guys, I'm not gonna lie there. I'm a Dean girl. And so then somehow it was Misha Collins. Misha lives in the same town that I do, and he was talking about fan fiction. I'm like, what's fan fiction? What's supernatural fan fiction? And then I found it, and then it was a thing. And then in 2020, I took a cruise in January of 2020, and I couldn't take the fan fiction with me because we didn't have internet access. And I was like, I need romance because they're all romance type stuff. And I just needed more. And so this genre gave me more. What about you?
I have always been a reader. I've always been an avid reader, but I hadn't been reading much for a long time because of children and, all that fun stuff. And then I got sick with COVID and I watched the After movies and I really enjoyed them. So I decided to get the After series and I read that because not all the movies were out at that point. And then I read the After series and I'm like, ooh, I love this. So then I went on to L. Kennedy to the Deal. And then you started telling me books and it just really spiraled from there.
Yeah, because I've been reading for over a year at that point, right?
Yeah, I haven't been reading that long. I started in 2021.
Yeah, somewhere in there. And I was like, have I got a list of books for you? Yep. And it snowballed.
Now it's out of control.
Now it's out of control. Okay. Next question.
No, I started reading in 2022.
Yeah, you did.
Because this is 2024. 2022. The very big, like January 2022.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Your favorite new author you found this year?
This year. Definitely Karen Crompton.
Oh, she was new for you this year.
She was new for me this year. Yay! And we got to meet her. And BJ Alpha, because BJ Alpha was new for me this year, and then I got to meet her and spend some time with her. So both of them are favorite new authors from this year. What about you?
Mine would probably be Cora Riley, because
you hadn't read her. Ooh,
I read Sweet Temptation, and then I hadn't read anything else, and then I got started with Luca and Bound by Honor, and just went down that rabbit hole and read like 13 or 14 of her books.
Yep. Neva Altai.
Yes, and Neva Altai.
Neva Altai. Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Do you think you'll be delving deeper into the fantasy romance genre?
I like fantasy romance. I have to be in the right mood for it, and I do have several on my TBR that I would like to get into. It's not necessarily your thing.
I don't really care for fantasy that much.
So I think because we read so like across the board, well, I read the more weirder things than what Mandy reads, but I think because we do that, fantasy is on the list. It's just, I have to be in the right mood. We're mood readers. So I have to be in the right mood.
Definitely a mood reader, but fantasy is really not my thing.
Yeah, it's more my thing, and I promise there are things on my TBR. I will try to get to more this year.
Who is your favorite couple?
Serene and Etienne from The Surviving Trace by Calla Reed, hands down. There's just something about that couple. They were one of my first books that I really got into that I felt was an epic romance, and I just fell in love with them as a couple. What about you?
This is hard.
Is it hard?
Well, I could definitely say, oh my gosh, who would I say? I mean, I could say like Birthday Girl and Don't Kiss the Bride. I could go through all those couples, but you really only see those couples in that book. So like I really liked, well, Luca and Arya, and then you get to see them a lot through the other series.
And into the spinoff now, too. The spinoff of the spinoff, because now we're seeing the kids, and so they're in there. Yeah.
So that's maybe them, because you just get to see them.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you were to write a book, what type of book would you write? You've actually talked about writing a book.
I have talked about writing a book, and I just don't know if I can pull it off. We had talked about writing a book about like a romance, and it would have been a girl like who goes to a support group for mastectomy stuff, and each one of those girls would have like their own book and their own thing, because there's like, obviously I found out when I was going through this, there are so many different kinds of reconstructions. There's people who have so many different types of breast cancer, and then you have people like me who did preventative, and it's all like this thing. But I don't know. I'm such a horrible writer. I love the idea of writing a book, but to have the patience to write, because there's a lot to it. Like you have to write like, this is where they're at. Like you have the scenery, and you have all these other little aspects where I just want them to find each other, get together, and make it happen. So I don't know that I am cut out for it. But what about you?
You were very excited on that.
I did. Okay, what about you though?
I don't know. Probably not. I've thought about it. I've started one before, but I didn't get very far, and then I got bored.
Yeah.
And
let's be honest, the spicy scenes cannot be easy to write.
What book best describes you?
Is there one with pure chaos?
I don't know.
I honestly, when I think, I don't know. That's a really hard question. Where's like the flighty, chaotic girl? Because I feel like her most of the time. You know what? Our heroines in our books aren't old enough to be us.
I can't think of any book that would best describe you.
I don't know. You got me.
We have pretty typical lives, so
we're so boring.
No, we're not boring. We just have typical lives.
Yeah.
We don't have drama. That's the thing. We have like stable relationships. Okay. What book represents your favorite song?
I think so. One of my favorite songs is "The Night We Met." By,
I love it.
Was it Lord Hurden? I can't remember who. But every time I hear that book, I think of
that book,
Dylan Page's Torment series, and it totally ruined that book for me, or that song for me. I had to wait months before I could read that or listen to that song again. So I mean, that's what I think of. Mandy and I have our tastes lean more towards the 90s when we were in high school, late 90s. So,
I listen to hip stuff.
I do sometimes. I do, but it's nothing like my husband, whose favorite band is Rush, and I didn't even know who Rush was when I met him. That was just sad. So sad.
What book represents yours? I don't know. I love music. I listen to music all the time, but I can't tell you what my favorite song is, because
I couldn't either.
I just like a lot.
There's a lot of songs that I like. I love music, and that's the one thing with my kids. I think that's why they are in choir and they're so musical, is because I played music all the time. When they were little and I'd have them in the car, there's a lot of parents that are like, oh, we're going to listen to the little kid music. And my rule was, you're in my car, you're listening to my music, and you're going to be quiet and do it. And that makes me sound like a dictator, but that's how it was. You're gonna listen to my music. I'm a little bossy, but it's a lot bossy. I wanted the car to be quiet in case of an accident, and I wanted them to sit and listen to the music. And so they never listened to their like little kid music. They listened to what I had, like my music. So I think that's why they are musical. But I can't tell you what my favorite song is.
No, I listen to, like I read all over romance. I listen kind of all over. The other day I was listening to my playlist, had just had Amazon playing my random playlist, and it went from Whip Your Love by Jack Harlow to The Mavericks, What a Crying Shame.
The worst part,
I'm all over.
Yes.
So
the worst part is when I'm listening to music in the car and I have it on shuffle, and we'll be getting down like to some gangster rap, and then the next thing is worship music that'll pop on, and I'm like that, and then the next thing will be like a Christmas song. I'm like, that doesn't work. So I have specific playlists.
Sorry, we didn't do a very good job of answering that question.
It was hard.
Okay, what is your absolute favorite trope?
Oh, captive.
The stuff on that table is
driving you nuts.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to keep.
Yeah, keep your arm up.
There's a few. Captive is always my go-to. A dark captive. I mean, I love post-apocalyptic and I love other things, right? But I'm all for that captive.
I used to say fake dating, but I kind of am not really as into that as I was. And right now I've been going to more of the mafia, darker stuff
I love mafia.
lately.
I say it all the time. Just club her over the head and take her. So
my absolute favorite trope. Oh, age gap, duh. You really had to think about that. That would be my overall favorite one. But it has to be taboo and done right.
Yeah.
I don't want the girl just to be like in her 20s and like, oh, the 30-year-old like last night.
Yeah. Yep. And I want the angst. Angst.
Okay. What tropes do you gravitate towards? Oh, I think that we talked about
our favorite, but like
our absolute favorite.
Yeah, so our absolute favorite. Mine was that, but mafia, post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
What else do I gravitate towards? Obviously, MC. A lot of the dark. I need the dark. I like a lot of the dark stuff. Yeah. When you put me on the spot like this, it's even harder. What do you?
I read all across the tropes, I think.
I like the taboo stuff.
But yeah, I do tend to go for taboo. And right now I'm reading more dark, but that will probably change. Okay. Yep. How did you guys decide to start being booktubers?
You can take this one away. Go for it. Take it away.
Well, Jessica and I would talk all the time, like multiple times a day about the books we were reading, and we would send each other Marco Polos back and forth. And one day I was just like, Jessica, we need to do something with this. Like, we should really start a channel. And you're like, okay, let's do it.
And that's pretty much it. Yeah. It was just one of those things where, Mandy and I have been close for a long time. But reading actually brought us even closer, and then starting our channel brought us even closer, if that's even believable. So it was definitely a great decision, but it's an excuse for us to spend more time together.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah.
But we love reading too, so it's it's not like it's a hardship.
And a lot of it was we were reading things that we weren't seeing on other booktube channels.
Yes.
And we wanted to bring those books to other people.
Yeah. Definitely. That was one of the things. And we spent all this time telling each other about great books. We need to tell other people about great books. Let's do something with this. Okay. Most anticipated upcoming release.
Probably Neva Altai's next book. I know at that and Pam Godwin's Alaska series. I'm really anticipating that. I'm really excited for that. What about you?
I have been waiting over a year for Lucia Franco to put out Avery and Xavier's book. I really want that. And it's supposed to be coming this winter now, so that would definitely be one. Obviously, The Consequence by Ashley Jade is coming. Very excited about that.
Karen?
Yeah, Karen Crumpton.
Get on that next book. we're waiting for you to type
it. It's not even I don't know how we'd call it an anticipating release.
We're just anticipating when she gets it done. There's no date. BJ Alpha's teasing some stuff for the new year. So we'll see what comes with that too. Yeah. And so is Grace McGinty. So, or at least there's stuff coming. So
okay, paperback or Kindle or audio?
Okay, so if I have to rank those in order, Kindle and audio are pretty comparable. It depends on what I'm doing. I think I can get more enjoyment sometimes out of reading off of my Kindle. Typically 99.99% of my reading is done on the Kindle, whether that's my audio on the Kindle or it's the Kindle. I do like audio for in the car, for work, for when I'm cleaning it and whatever. I kind of lean a little more towards audio. I think it just depends.
Jessica works as a customer service rep at a very busy office.
No, I don't.
That's where you listen to audio. People are like, excuse me.
I'm like, shh, we're at the spicy scenes. No, and then I rarely ever pull up a book and read a physical book, and that's part of it's because it's expensive, first of all. So constantly buy. At the rate we read, it's extremely expensive. But then just to sit there and hold it, I'll hold my Kindle. What about you?
I read 387 books last year, so if I bought each of those at an approximate price of $15, that's over $5,800.
Okay, so do mine. I read 470 this last year.
And seeing 15, so
$7,000 in books. So yeah, thank God for Kindle.
I love to read a paperback, but I do read a lot on my Kindle.
I mean, it doesn't stop me from buying and going into bookstores and smelling the books,
but for a lot of the books that I get, I don't want people to touch.
I know, yeah, don't touch them. They're just to be pretty. But even like today, we went to 3 different bookstores in the area, and we didn't buy a book because we kept going, well, I have it on my Kindle. I have it on my Kindle.
Well,
and we already have so much on our
There wasn't as many. The choice wasn't.
No, we tried.
I do like audio though, but I would be Kindle. Would be mine. Okay. Greatest thing about starting your booktube?
I think how close we've gotten. I mean, we're already close. It just brought us closer, don't you think?
I think so too. But so obviously that would be top ranking our friendship bond there. But the things that we've done, like getting to go to book events and meeting authors and becoming friends with them, meeting other people at the events and becoming friends with them, that has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Jessica, in case people can't tell, is way more outgoing than I am.
Oh no.
So Jessica excels at that, and I'm just
overshares quite a bit.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm surprised Karen even talks to us after we met her. We can cut that out.
No, we can leave that in.
You remember I was like, I told you never to tell people that story.
I might talk about my mastectomy quite a lot. I'm just spreading awareness.
But that wasn't
what is I telling her?
Anyway, when are we getting that prom story? Well, Jessica said I can't tell it until we get to 1,000 subscribers. Share, subscribe, and I'll give you that story. Tell your friends, and then I will get on here. Oh, I cannot wait to share the prom story. It will be a lot of me hysterically laughing. There's actually 2 prom stories.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Okay. What are your top 5 books of all time? Well, this question prompted us to, along with we just finished putting our 2023 books in order for how we wanted them. And then we decided, well, I read a lot of good books the year before, and you've read a lot of good books in the years prior to that. So we decided to create our top 20 so we can better answer that question. So we will have that video out shortly, so you're going to want to check that out. Is there a book you would love to see made into a movie, Jessica?
No.
Tell them why.
I feel like when they make my favorite books into movies, it ruins the book, or it ruins the story. They never get the book, or the movie is never as good as the book. And the ones that I have seen, I didn't like what they did with Bridgerton. I didn't like what they've done with other ones, and it scares the crud out of me because what I have pictured up here is not what's going to be on the screen. So no.
Redeeming Love is a movie, and I watched it because I love Nina Dobrev, and she has a smaller role in it, but I just watched it because I love her. And then I read the book, and I felt like they both complemented each other very well, and you don't find that all the time. So I don't know that I have one because, like you said, there's like certain ways I think people should look, and then if they change that.
Yeah, like when they were talking about casting the Avatar, like movies, and you could see that on TikTok, I would get so, like, people would pull up these guys and they're like, this is the Azrael. And I'm like, he's too young. Like, I have such a hard time. And that's not what I picture. So. Yeah,
Carrie and Cole's Facebook group, people will post like pictures of guys and they'll be like, oh, this looks like this person. And there's sometimes some of the people get a little catty in there. They're like, no, it's not. But we get very like attached to the image in our minds of who that person is.
Yes.
Okay, I lost my spot, sorry. Okay, what book has devastated you?
The Torment Duet did.
I don't like it.
By Dylan Page. It was too much. There's really only one major trigger that I have, and that one had it, and I didn't read the triggers because I don't typically, because I don't think that I have any, and I just jumped into it, and that bothered it wasn't that it devastated me, made me sad. It bothered me. Like, it was something that bugged me for weeks and weeks. Like, I couldn't listen to that song, and I did not like that. Not that I didn't like the story. The story is really dark and taboo and all sorts of gross, but I mean, like, gross in a good way. But that really did. Unseen Messages made me emotional by Pepper Winters. I don't know the books of, we've already gone over the fact that I'm an ice queen.
Okay, Surviving Trace, book 2.
I just had anxiety.
Oh, hysterical crying like through the whole book.
I had severe anxiety.
Pen Pal.
Yeah.
Transcendence
By Shay Savage.
Yeah, it's another one. Let's see.
Pen Pal was by J.T. Geisinger.
I get pretty emotional fairly easily though, so yeah.
There's certain books like 1,000 Boy Kisses. I know what happens in that.
Don't tell me you haven't read it yet.
And I won't read it because I know what happens, and it would make me too upset and emotional, and so I can't read it. So like I tend to avoid the ones I know that if I know they're gonna make me emotional.
Yeah.
I want the angst, I want the anxiety, but I don't want to be devastated.
What is your all-time favorite FMC and book boyfriend?
Female main character. I love Kiara from the Kimura Chronicles. I really, really, really love Kiara from the Kimura Chronicles. And I also love, also in Cora Riley's world, I love Julia from, what's the name of the book?
Sweet Temptation.
Thank you, Sweet Temptation. Julia from Sweet Temptation. I love all my Mafia men. Like, you could probably find all my favorites in her world in that, because I do love Nino, and I mean Nino is tattooed and he has no emotion. I mean, come on, we all want that. Remo flies off the handle. Dude is dark and disturbed, and I love it. I love the Kimura Chronicles. So those guys for sure. And I mean, obviously, I've already said, ATN is like ultimate book boyfriend. So, and he's not even dark. I mean, his story isn't. But ATN is ultimate book boyfriend.
Lucky.
You like Lucky?
Don't Kiss the Bride.
Mm-hmm.
But probably the ultimate couple would be Pike and Jordan, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Somebody asked in the HD Carlton group the other day, like, if your favorite book boyfriends were all in a room and you had to run to just one, which one would you choose? And the majority of people said, this is why we read Why Choose. It would be very hard. And I'm like, well, the first one that smirks at me was the one I'd run to. But then when I sit and think about it, I'm like, I'd probably run the opposite direction because the majority of the guys I read are pretty messed up. But yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay guys, so here is our hotel room, because I told you that we're in a really cool place. So here is Mandy's bed. The bathroom is around the corner here. But then we have, you know, the standard TV and stuff. And this is where we recorded in front of this window a little while ago. But you have your little window. And then you have the upstairs that will take you into my bedroom. Now, we know this was not the principal's office. I don't know what this room was. And you can see we have the stacks of books from filming, but then this is my room here, which means that I have to figure out how I'm gonna go down the stairs, which it does have the door that closes, but how I'm gonna go down the stairs tonight when I have to go to the bathroom and not trip over myself or fall over Mandy. So here's the room. I just wanted you guys to see it. It's a really neat place that we're in. You can see they've got like the lighting fixtures are really cool. It's the old schoolhouse building. Mandy keeps saying that my room is in the red light district because there's a red light there. So she said that I am a hooker. So that was really lovely of you. Thank you, Mandy.
You're welcome. Did you read as a kid?
No. My grandparents would read to us. My parents were not readers. My parents were extremely young, and it was never something they were into, ever. My grandparents and great-grandparents read the Bible constantly, but my grandma is also just a reader. And so I remember my grandpa, who's still, both my grandparents are still here, and we'd have sleepovers, and grandpa loved things like stories from the South, because his family was from Kentucky. And so we would hear a lot of, he would just recite them. I remember sitting in his lap and snuggling with him when we were having sleepovers at Grandma and Grandpa's house, and him reciting the stories. And they were Bible stories. They were Southern stories, like the Brer Rabbit those stories and stuff when I was a kid. What about you?
I loved to read as a kid. My mom would take me to the bookstore once a month so I could get the new Babysitter Club books.
I had
a ton of books when I was a kid.
We didn't have library cards until I was 7, and my cousin took me when my brother got ran over. And we were all being farmed out to everybody. That was the first time I got a library card because I had never been to the library. I didn't know what to do. And it was like years in between.
I still remember the librarian's name, Mike.
I remember one corner of the library in Raymond.
Oh, I love the library.
I remember the South Bend Library, but I was there as a teenager, so no, I just hadn't. It wasn't a thing.
Okay, where did you guys meet? School. We met at school.
We're just gonna go with school. Yes, we don't need it. Yeah. So yeah, Mandy. So we met at school. Like Mandy said, she was taking a tri-district class. So when we were growing up, our high school was we had a tri-district. So there were 3 high schools in our area, and they were 5 miles. They were within a 5-mile radius of each other. And so you could take a class at the neighboring high school and still be enrolled at the other high school. And so Mandy came out to Valley, and she was taking a class, and that's where we met. And was that our sophomore year? Because then you transferred in our junior year.
Yeah.
So we met in our sophomore year. We became friends in our junior year.
Yes.
We even have an anniversary and everything. It was one of those proms. So yeah, that's where we met, and it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What book is at the top? And then we were like instant best friends, like inseparable.
Like joined at the hip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went sledding once, and we were not joined at the hip then. Were we, Jessica?
Look, it was right after Sonny Bono. Sonny Bono.
And then one of the Kennedys did it as
well. So we're sliding down this little hill, and we're going straight for a bunch of trees. And I bailed, and I said I didn't want to pull a Kennedy, and Mandy kept going.
Yeah, she left me on the sled by myself going full speed towards a tree.
We were 18. Even if that, we might have been 17. It was in the winter, it was 17. What? I had ambitions. I wanted to be a wife and mother, and getting killed by the trees were only like this big, guys. It wasn't.
So, there were times we weren't inseparable. I didn't care about the other person's life.
Remember Psycho? Okay, so side note, so when we were in our senior year of high school, they did the remake with Anne Heche of Psycho. And Mandy, one of her favorite movies was Psycho, like the original Alfred Hitchcock Psycho. So we drove a half an hour. Was that when the mouse was in the car?
It might have been.
We drove a half an hour to the movie theater. A mouse popped out of the car. It was terrifying. We freaked out. I had to go home, and her mom was like, just go. You guys are fine. It's gone now. Anyhow, because she lived out on a farm, so you had those things, right?
I live on a farm now, and I've never had a mouse in the car.
I don't live on the farm, but my house is up against a greenbelt, kind of a huge area that they don't let them build on. And I've had a mouse in my new car. They say they come in through the vents because I park right up against the grass, so I park back in the wintertime. Anyhow, sorry. Okay, so mouse in the car. So we had a late start getting to the movies. So we go and we watch the movie. Then, and keep in mind, we don't watch horror movies. I never watched horror movies. That was not my thing. So then we go back to, it was our senior year. I was living with my grandparents. My parents had moved to Idaho. Totally different story. They were there for a short period of time. But we were living in my grandparents' house, and in our bedroom we had the TV, and we had the day bed and the full-size bed, because my sister was there too. And we were laying in the bed, and we were watching the original Psycho at this point. So we'd had a Psycho kind of day. And all of a sudden, it was very stormy out. And the wind chimes, my grandma has a lot of wind chimes, and the one wood thing kept whacking against the window. We were freaking ourselves out. So I went and got my grandpa's police radio. He's the chief of police. And so I went and got his police radio, and I had it right here next to us. The next thing we know, because we had the door shut, the smoke alarm started going off. Because grandma had left a candle burning, and it was in a wood candle holder. And it was going off and smoking. And we were freaking out. We were definitely freaking out at that point. So we freaked ourselves out with the whole Psycho bit. Those are just kind of some of the fun things we did as kids. I was ready to call down to the police station.
What book is at the top of your TBR for the new year?
The Lovely Return by Carrie Ann Cole is definitely at the top of my list. And so is The 16th Maid by Calla Reed. I've already said both of those were on there. What about you?
I'm panicking with this question. I can't think of anything all of a sudden. I want to go back and finish because I've only read one of them, but Gianna Darling's MC series. That would definitely be at the top of my list.
Fallen Men series.
And I want to go back and finish a few. I have only a handful of Calla Reed's books left, and I have one Karen Crompton book left. I've read all of Carrie Ann Cole's. So those would probably be at the top of my list in this moment. But ask me this question again in 2 weeks, and you will get a different answer.
Always. Yeah, always. Yep. Okay.
Okay. If you could only reread 5 books for the rest of your life, what would they be? I think that will be answered in our top 20 of all time video.
Yep, that's coming.
And do you have any hobbies other than reading?
Do I?
You're a hooker. You told me this. We just went by the yarn store and that's what you said.
That I was a hooker. No, I can knit. I have knitted. I used to go before the pandemic. I would go a couple times a year to. I had some scrapbooking retreats that I would go on with friends. I haven't done that since the pandemic. I do love to digitally scrapbook. The kids are getting older, and I'm way behind in books. Is my husband a hobby? He's a hobby, right? Spending time with him. I'm sure, I know that I do, but when you put me on the spot like this, I can't think of anything.
Okay. I have a hobby farm, so that takes up way more time than I would like it to. And then I love football, so I don't know if watching football is considered a hobby or not.
Sure it is.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I do a lot of crafty things. Like I have a lot of crafts that I do. So
And I love to travel. So
who doesn't?
That could be my hobby.
Yeah, that could be your hobby, traveling. Yeah. Let's see. It's like a full-on tiki thing. Yeah. Yeah. And then the restaurant is right above us.
All right.
Okay.
What are your bookish goals for next year?
You want me to read 100 more than you.
Yeah, you're reading 487 books this year.
Because I read 470 books this year. So this past year in 2023. So Mandy's like, you need to read 487. Now, if you look at my Goodreads, it's going to say 366 because Mandy told me it's a leap year. So it's not 365, it's 366 because that is more of a realistic goal. But we'll see what I can do. I do want to go back and finish a few series. I want to find new authors that need to be brought to your guys' attention.
Yes.
That's definitely a goal for both of us. I want to, I don't know, I'm very picky about my books, and there's a reason. I was going to say, I want to not be so picky about cartoon covers, but you know what? I'm done with the cartoon covers.
Yeah, that's a
Get rid of the cartoon covers.
Really
so, yeah, what about you?
Okay, so 387 books again, and then some of the series that I just talked about, backlist of some authors, but yeah, those would really be my only specific goals.
Yeah.
What books do you have pre-ordered for next year? Which would now be this year.
2024. All the Neva Altais that are coming out are all pre-ordered. There's one in March for sure that's coming out. I have, and I'm sure you do too, the Pucking Wrong, it's not the wrong guy. What is it? The Pucking Wrong Date?
Good
Pucking Wrong Date is on pre-order.
Which has been moved. February 23rd.
I have a couple by BJ Alpha because she's got them all lined up for the year. They don't necessarily have titles, and if they do, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I have a few of hers on pre-order. If I could pre-order it right now, I would pre-order Pam Godwin's Alaska series. I'm sure there's more, but that's all I can think of at the moment. I'd have to look through that's in my journal, which is up there. Don't forget about the journals, guys. It's a new year. Shameless plug.
I have Neva Altai's one on pre-order, and I have The Consequence by Ashley Jade on pre-order. And I can't think of other ones. Those are the two that I know off the top of my head. But Chloe Walsh, I have that one. That new one.
Yeah.
Comes out in April. Gibbsy Clear. Can't wait.
Woohoo. Okay.
But Jessica, we would both know our pre-orders better if we had our journals handy that have the
Yeah, because we have the list in our journals, but we got so excited about recording for you guys, I left it. So we're going to take some videos so you guys can see the hotel. My bedroom is, Mandy has a full-size bed behind her here. There's a set of stairs right here up into another room with a door, and that's where my bedroom is. It's just, it is the coolest place. Tonight. I hope not. I've got a cold, so I don't normally snore.
That door, that's going to be a problem.
I don't normally snore, but I have a cold, so I'm hoping I don't.
Auto by authors.
Grace McGinty, Neva Altai, BJ Alpha, Karen Crompton, Ruby Dixon, Pam Godwin, Calla Reed, Carrie Ann Cole. Who am I forgetting? Who do you have? Who do you have that I don't?
Well, I have Neva Altai. I have Carrie Ann Cole would definitely be an auto by author. Like, I was all over The Lovely Return before I had any idea what it was even going to be about. Did we say Calla Reed?
Calla Reed, yeah.
Karen Crompton, Calla Reed, and Carrie Ann Cole are my 3 favorite authors, so they're always going to be, and Neva Altai.
Kay Webster. I don't normally buy it because I'm a part of her group. I always get her.
I don't know how much I like most of her stuff. So lately she's definitely been an auto by author for me, but every once in a while she has some books where I'm like, I don't know.
It depends. So, but yeah, I like her taboo stuff. So her, Misty Walker tends to be another one that I auto buy from quite often as well. Because I like her MC stuff. Typically just her MC.
Keep yawning.
But I've got a question for you. This is my question. I think this would be fun. So one book can only be one that you have to choose. If you could choose one book to have first edition signed by the author, which book would it be? Other than the Bible.
Yes, God, can you please sign my Bible?
Can you please sign my book?
This is tricky.
I know what I would have.
First edition. Well, everybody knows what you're gonna pick. Surviving Trace.
Yes, I would love. I have a second edition. I don't have the original cover. And if I had the original cover, I would hunt Calla. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to hunt you down to sign it if I have the first edition. But I know I would love to have that first edition signed.
I would take anything by Carrie Ann Cole signed first edition.
I would too, but yeah.
If I could meet her in person. Yeah.
Yeah. The principal's office. Oh, somebody left their drink down here.
I wonder if it really was the principal's office, because usually principal's offices wouldn't be on the top floor, they'd be on the main floor.
I do like that they have tiki torches all over here. Okay, so the...
Why don't we just go this way? Or are you wanting to still film?
We'll go in this way. Okay, so that right here, this one right here is supposed to be a bar too. That's the shed. And it's a bar at certain times of the night. Oop. I did walk into a leaf. Yeah, that's it. That looks very brothel. Yeah, but we could sit there and pretend to be in a brothel. Okay, guys, so obviously we're not together anymore, but we did have a few more questions that came through that we want to be able to answer for you guys. So let's do this. So one of the questions that we had was, what does or how do our husbands and our kids feel about us having a YouTube channel? So how do the husbands feel? I think they're pretty positive about it. My husband says he likes that we do it. He thinks it's awesome that we've taken our little hobby and done something great with it. So both of the husbands, I think, are very supportive. I mean, they make fun of us about our dirty books quite often, but I think that they're very supportive, don't you?
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, they're good. And then as far as the kids go, they're teenagers. They're all teenagers. So there'll be times where, if like on TikTok, when we hit 3,000 followers, or which I didn't even want to have a TikTok, but we have a TikTok, and we hit 3,000 followers on there. But we had a TikTok that just kind of blew up at one point, and so they were slightly impressed with that. But I think for the most part, they're teenagers, so they could care less. They like my daughter, my 16-year-old, her friends all love that we have a channel. They think it's a great, like one of them's like, oh my gosh, you're an influencer. I'm like, no, not really, but okay. But yeah, the kids and the husbands, they're pretty good about it. So they don't complain too much when it's time to film. We try to keep that to one day anyway. So yeah.
I only have one teenager, but my kids don't. I kind of keep that stuff separate.
Yeah. They just know that Mandy and I are on the phone a lot. More than anything. So, yeah. Okay. So the other question.
Okay, so our next question is, why do we like going to author events?
Other than the obvious of being together and getting to travel together, I think we really enjoy.
We did not travel together. I had to fly on a plane all alone.
But we met there, and our next one, which is,
and then I had to ride a cab all alone to the airport.
You rode from the one airport over to the other airport.
You were already through TSA, and I was still in the cab.
That's because the cab driver couldn't get his equipment working. To take money. To take money. So no, help me, he paid for the ride. Anyhow, he had to like call the cab company. It was a real pain in the butt.
And then I got charged a fee for them to take my card over the phone.
Yeah, that was the dumbest thing ever. Okay, so anyhow, besides that, like our next one, we're going to fly together. We'll meet in Seattle and fly together. But being
I'm holding you to that.
You said we were going to. So,
yeah,
I mean, that's the plan.
You find like some little Cessna to take.
I could fly to Vancouver, but I hate that because I have to go through customs several different times if I fly out of Vancouver. I have to go, when I get across the border, I'll have to go the one time. But normally I would fly out of Vancouver to go to things with my business before, and it would be like I drive, cross the border, go through customs, get to the airport, go through customs again to fly back into the United States. So it was always interesting, but it was cheaper. It's not anymore. Okay, so anyhow, besides being together, we love getting to meet the authors that we're, reading. We love to get to have that one-on-one time with them and narrators too, but it's also a great way to meet and find other authors and books that you haven't, like you wouldn't normally just discover on your own because you're like, oh, well, I'm going to go to this event. Now here are all these authors. Maybe I should try to read a few and not just the big ticketed authors. And we always find somebody that, or a couple different authors that are new to us that we really enjoy their books. Mm-hmm. Why else do we want to go? Why else do we like going?
Well, we meet friends.
We do make friends. We make friends from the channel. Mm-hmm. We have people like viewers like you guys who, which we totally encourage this. Please come say hi if you're at an event. We love it when you guys come up and say hi and are like, we watch you. And we're like, oh, you're the reason why we have a channel. That's awesome. And other influencers. I don't like calling us influencers, but other people with other booktube channels. So we just have a good time networking and finding new people, meeting new people. So
yeah,
definitely. Yeah. And we have 3 events this year. 3, 4. How many do we have this year?
3 that I know of.
So we're going to Romance Invades the Rockies in July.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rain City in Seattle is when?
September.
And then we're going back to Love in Vegas in October, but it's not Love in Vegas now. It's Windy.
I think that they're
still
calling it.
Yeah, but it's being put on by a different company.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So those are the 3 that we have for this year as of right now. There is a little readers and writers one that happens in the summertime in Seattle that we might go to, but we might go there with our book journals. So as vendors. So we'll see what happens with that. We've filled out the paperwork. We'll see. So anyhow, so that's it. Those are the questions that we had. So let's go. We'll go back to the video.
that's where we stayed. Okay.
So that's it. Those are the questions that you guys had for us. So thank you for sending those in, and thank you for being a part of our journey over the last year. We couldn't have done it without you. Obviously, you guys are the important ones. So thanks for watching and liking and subscribing and being here.
Make sure to check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for new videos from us.
Until then, guys, we'll see you in the next video.